Alright, so I've reached the end of my round, which ends with the white, my contrasting color. So I'm going to go ahead and count. I started with blue, and if you, whatever color you start with, but I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 50, 2, 4, 6, 8, 60. So I'm good to go on my stitch count. You want to do that at the end of each round. I know it's a pain to count stitches, but you really have to count stitches in crochet. Otherwise, you'll regret it. You might have to frog or rip back a whole row of Fair Isle, and that will not be fun. Trust me, I've done it. So what we're going to do now is the beginning of the next round is going to be all white for me. So the whole entire row is white. So actually, I've actually made a mistake here and changed out to blue at the end of the round instead of white. So I want to keep it consistent. So I'm just going to pull that back out. And then I'm going to finish off the stitch with white because the first stitch of my next row or round is white. So here we're going to do our join. Now this is actually the first stitch. This is the second. So our join is going to be right here in the chain, which falls kind of in between the two of those stitches. So I'm going to join there, and then I'm going to chain one. And so I'm going to work directly into the center of my first stitch. And as you can see, it's kind of hidden. I'm not really sure what I did, but see how tiny it is? This is why tension's important for this kind of hat with color changes. Can you see that? How tiny my little V is? So if you get a little tiny V like that, just use the hook and hook it and go through. And so this entire round is going to be single crochet. So even though it's super tiny, I still got it in there. And sometimes these can be very difficult to get through. And you might think it looks messy, but in the end, it'll end up working out just fine. Okay, so let's keep working these. And always, if you're using a boy hook, you know, the tip is tapered, so make sure you go ahead and push down to open up your stitch. And the color you left behind, don't worry about it, just leave it laying there, because you'll pick it up back when you start your next round. And you can see how it's turning out. You see you've got your little beginning Fair Isle, and each stitch is kind of in the center of the stitch below it. That's what makes this Fair Isle technique great, or using the knit stitch, is a lot of times when you try to do color changes without using the knit stitch, just a single crochet, things are kind of offset just a tad. All right, so I'll meet you back. Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm back and I've had lunch, so I feel much better. So I've come to the end now of round 2, or round 1, 2, 3, 4 for me. So, and mine it's a solid row of single crochet in the contrasting color. So I'm going to count again: 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 26, 28, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 50, 60. So I've got my 60. So I remember I'm working the toddler size because I figure I might as well do one for my grandbaby, right? So the next round for me is going to be starting with the main color, which is for me is blue. So I did it again, which is okay because sometimes you just complete a stitch without thinking about it. But I'm going to rip it back and complete it with blue because blue is the beginning. So just go ahead and grab your yarn that's laid down towards the back, pull it up, and then complete the last stitch with that, and then just kind of pull down a little bit on there. So here we're at the join again, and we know that our knit stitches have the V shape to them. So everything else that doesn't, that's your joins. And we're going to ignore this little loop right there. We're going to join into the chain. And then we're going to work straight again, doing or rotating one blue, one white, one blue, one white. And you begin straight in the center of your knit stitch. But I'm not going to complete that. I'm going to pull my white, and I'm going to do like I did before and hold one in one finger and one in the other finger. And I'm going to complete my stitch. So I've got one blue and one white. As you work the pattern, you'll see the pattern emerging better, and it'll get easier to kind of just work the pattern without even looking, because you'll find the repeats. You'll see the repeats, and they become pretty easy after a while. Sometimes I catch them down there. It's very annoying. There we go. Sometimes the hook gets caught on the threads inside the stitch. And so just keep doing your alternating pattern. Remember, you don't want to enclose your blue. You want to make sure that the blue or whatever color you're using is, so you don't get twisted up, because trust me, the twisting is not fun. So I'm going to put that blue down below. Oops. You can, if you're a wrapper, you can do that too. You know, like some people just kind of like to wrap their yarns because they're a knitter as well. So however you feel comfortable, whatever you feel comfortable doing. So there we go. So we were already starting to see the bottom part of the pattern emerge. So I'm going to do this round, and I'll meet you back at the next one. All right, yay! So I've finished that round, and I'm back at the beginning. And so my next round is going to have just a straight line of all one color, my main color, in single crochet. So I have the right color pulled up this time, and I'm going to go ahead and find my first stitch of the next round, which is right there. So I'm going to go over and join in the chain, and then I'm going to chain one and continue working. So I hope this helps you guys get the idea or the gist of working Fair Isle in the round using the knit stitch, and you'll really get the hang of it after you do like probably this first section. You'll have the hang of it, and then it'll be a breeze. And I can't stress enough to just remember to keep your loose, especially on these single crochet rounds where you might lose yourself for a minute. I mean, not single crochet, but just straight up one color knit stitch where you're not changing colors. You might lose your memory on keeping the tension loose. So just remember to pull up a little bit after each stitch so your V's won't be too tight for your next round when you have to go through the center of them. See, here's a good example of a too tight one. I'll show you. This one's just a little too tight, and sometimes you can see how you can see the other color through the center. So just try to shove it on in there, push it back. There we go. And so just keep working your pattern. Remember to keep in mind when you come up on your next round what the color of the stitch of the first stitch of the round will be, so that you start off with the right color and join with the right color, because you want your joins to look good. So you can see the pattern starting to emerge there. And where's our join? See, our join is right here, but it's not very noticeable. You can't really see it. Hopefully, you'll learn as you keep working how to do your joins with the color changes. So I'm going to show you guys my hat, and you can see that this is my seam. That's my join. You can see the first one does look a little wobbly, but that's okay because it all ends up working out. There's the first join. All right, guys, so let me know if you have any questions about it. Leave them down in the comment section for the videos or on the thread, wherever you want to leave them. I'll try to answer questions for you, and just keep working. We're going to do the rest of this week. We're going to work the very first section of the pattern, and then next week we're going to work the other two sections. So the first section is this rows 1 through, or not 1 through 23, but I'm going back up. Rounds 3 through 23. And so that will be the snowflake pattern. And then next week we're going to work on the diamond pattern, the heart, and then we're going to finish it off. I just have my safety pin. Sometimes I don't always want to wear a pom-pom. And then we're going to work the last week, we're going to do those 2 top sections, close it, and work the brim. All right, guys. I'll see you soon.